Ahurewa koha. I truly believe I heard that name given to me from God, to name her that. Ahurewa koha, a gift given from the sacred place. From day dot when she was born, she just active and cheeky and loves to act and loves to sing and dance and she loves a crowd, you know, and she just seems to draw crowds. And I mean, even up on the ward, you know, she's this little queen that just walks up and down the wards and, you know, and everyone plays with her and talks with her.
22-month-old Ahurewa has an extremely rare form of leukemia. Her chances of survival are around 50-50.
When you hear the survival rate, you just, I guess you kick into protective mode. I mean, you know, what parent wouldn't fight for their kid?
Chemotherapy was presented as the only hope, but the Rapira whānau needed breathing space to consider their options.
We got told that, oh, you know, you're here and we're going to run chemotherapy and it's going to start at this day, and we're like, not yet. That's not what we want to do. Like, we want to have a thought, we want to have a conversation, we want to understand what this actually is, just to make sure that this is the right choice for our baby, you know? And so we got to a point where we were like, oh, we don't believe this is the right choice and we're going to go home.
Was there a chance of softening the blow of chemo? Brad began researching medicinal cannabis as a complementary medicine, but that met with resistance.
One of the doctors said to us, cannabis doesn't belong in a baby, you know, and I says cancer and chemotherapy don't belong in a baby.
1, 2.
The laws around medicinal cannabis are currently transitional. For now, GPs can prescribe approved cannabis products, but so far, not many doctors do, and clients like Brad feel like they're being left in the dark.
Woohoo! And they all fall down.
It's become legitimate through legislation of 1st of April, and so you would hope that maybe there would be pamphlets around or information around or the doctor you can contact, you know, posters on the wall, but we see none of that.
So this is a little bit of cannabis dried flower, so I like to have a little pipe sometimes.
That's strong.
Oh yes, it is. It's a lovely smell. So I would use a tiny little amount of this beautiful flower I have a tiny little pipe that has a little bowl about the size of my little fingernail, and sometimes in the evenings I would have a little pipe of that just to help with sleep as well. It's very good for sleeping. Brad contacted me recently looking for information from the cannabis community to help them make a decision about Ahurewa's treatment and care. They were looking for information about running cannabis alongside chemo treatment.
So how often does this happen where families or patients contact you for help?
Every single day of my life, yes.
Is that you there?
Yes, that's me there.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So that was a J-Day education tent that we held a couple of years ago now, I think, just being on site, talking to patients, different people about medicinal cannabis.
Pearl uses cannabis to treat her own chronic pain. She's upfront and open about that, but treads a fine line when it comes to the law.
I'm definitely an older Pākehā woman in a position of great privilege with this plant. I haven't had any knocks on the door from any, nobody's complained about my usage and these media opportunities. So,
yeah, which is interesting because the first line in the article is Pearl Skonberg is hardly your stereotypical criminal, and I was just thinking, what is a stereotypical criminal?
Well, I think that you would have to say, in terms of this plant, cannabis, that your stereotypical criminal would be young, Māori and probably male. And that's part of the reason why I've taken the pathway that I have, is that, you know, I want it to be seen as a plant that's useful for small children like Ahurewa, through to old people like myself.
Products like these are controlled by Section 29 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. And this is a rule that says that companies are not allowed to advertise the availability of these products. I could be breaking the law by telling you that these products are available. How silly is that?
Dr. Graham Goldbranson is one of the few GPs specialising in medicinal cannabis. He prescribed Tilray, a specially imported oil, for Ahurewa.
I think it's going to help her get through the chemotherapy, perhaps with less nausea, less discomfort. And children in hospital do get anxious or depressed, and CBD can be particularly good for relieving emotional distress.
Tilray is one of 2 approved medicinal cannabis oils. One has the psychoactive compound THC. That's the stuff that gets you high. The one prescribed for Ahurewa is a CBD product, which means the psychoactive has been removed. Both are expensive imports because the government has yet to approve much cheaper local products.
The family's probably paying $10 or more every day for the CBD, so it comes in little bottles like this, and these are 25 ml bottles, and they'll only last for about 25 days at around $300 a bottle, so a lot of families can't afford that.
And again, this is where Pearl comes in.
So what about the whānau or the patients that can't afford to go and see Dr. Graham or can't afford to legally get the cannabis oil? What then?
So the alternative options are to find a green fairy within our community that will support the family, and that often happens. That happens every day of the week.
Yeah, cannabis all around us. Isn't it a lovely sight? Oh, I do love that.
Meet Gandalf. Not his real name, of course, but you can see why it fits. He's what's called a green fairy, someone who routinely breaks the law by supplying medicinal cannabis to whānau in need.
I'm used to most of my life being stereotyped. A lot of people see me and they just take one look and they think, oh yeah, dirty hippie, pot smoker. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. I stopped smoking cannabis and drinking alcohol when I was 24. I lost interest in it, and I realised there was more to life than alcohol and cannabis.
Ironic, because these days, Gandalf dedicates his life to making and supplying medicinal cannabis.
This one is aptly named Cancer's Nightmare. Very high THC, low CBD. It's almost in the category of one fits all with regards to pain.
Gandalf says his oils are about half the price of approved imported oils.
Why do people come to you?
As a last resort, because the doctors have failed them, they've been given up on, or the pain that they've been prescribed doesn't work, or it does work, but the side effects far outweigh the benefits. So they hear of me through Pearl. Pearl and I work very closely together, as well as a medical herbalist. The three of us work generally on cases that prove to be difficult, and with our combined knowledge, we generally come up with what we consider a good and hopefully successful protocol.
Getting up here at the crucial time is not always possible.
Gandalf's been busted 3 times and did a short stint in prison. But he says the constant stress of police raids is worth it if it means helping people. And he claims to have helped thousands over the years.
When I'm down and out a little bit and I need a bit of upliftment, I'll get her card that she sent me, and I find it really uplifting. Do you mind if I read it?
Yeah, sure.
It says, "Dear Gandalf, I just wish to express my heartfelt thanks for your sincere
Generosity and care for us, as well as many others. It is rare in a lifetime to find someone so selfless, courageous, and kind. To us, you're a beacon of light in the darkness. Aroha. I won't say her name.
How does that make you feel when you...
Well, it makes me feel good but sad at the same time.
Whānau, this is day 8 of Ahurewa's chemotherapy. And look at her. She's up, full of energy, wanting to build and do her thing. 9 days into chemo, whānau. She's ready to go. So here's day 10, last day of her chemo. She's done incredibly well.
At Starship Hospital, Ahurewa has just finished her first round of chemo. She was also treated with medicinal cannabis. For Brad, the results speak for themselves.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing to watch what hasn't happened to her. You know, the doctor says this is going to happen. She's going to get sores in the mouth. She's going to lose her appetite. She's going to be nauseous. She's going to vomit quite a bit. And then we'll eventually put a nasal feeding tube into her so that, you know, we can get the right nutrients and everything into her. But none of that's happened.
Pukana?
She's bringing about an alternative. She's bringing about something that could change many kids' lives here in New Zealand. And so we're like, wow, God, this is a hard way to do it. But man, let your will be done.
Pukana?